So just curious, you have a lot of experience in shooting editorial shots, and you're very notarized for your work. What do you think makes a professional photographer a professional?
Well, to me, I think that the only thing that separates a professional photographer from, let's say, an amateur photographer is getting paid. True story. I've met many amateurs who are talented, and their talent I would call professional. But if you don't know how to handle your business, if you don't know how to make income out of your talent, then I would not be able to call you a professional. And I hate the way that sounds. That sounds kind of, but it's the truth. I run across many artists, many talented artists, and they live paycheck to paycheck. And that's unfortunate because they do not know how to market themselves properly. So I'll probably even say that being professional is knowing how to balance talent, effort, and marketing.
All right, cool. And how would you separate your niche or your approach when it comes to shooting?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. What I believe separates me from the next talented guy who knows how to use a camera would be that I shoot from my soul. And I believe that everyone's soul has unique identity. And if you stay true to your soul, your photos will always be different. You will always be unique that way. I have my own personal visions of what I think makes a goddess or what makes a god. And I think that that is what separates me from the next guy who's shooting a beautiful model in clothes. I don't even really see them like that. I choose to shoot gods. I think that's a lot more appealing to me.
All right. And I'm glad you said that. Leading to the next question, where do you think spirituality has guided you?
Spirituality has got me everywhere. Religion got me nowhere. When I was shooting religiously when I first started 10 years ago, I toned everything down. I was afraid to show the woman feeling sexual, and sexuality is a very natural thing. Spirituality helped me embrace that, I know how to ride that fine line between sensuality, sexuality, and perversion. Okay, so that is led by nothing but the spirit. But more importantly, the spirit, and when I say spirit, I'm speaking about my ancestors. A lot of people, when they refer to spirit or religion and their artwork, they're talking about this uniform God figure or a particular book that led them somewhere. No, like I actually went to my ancestors before I decided to redevelop my book. Spoke to them. What do they want me to showcase? How do they want me to showcase it? And I'm heavily influenced by my mother, which is Akubalan, Africa. I don't care if I'm shooting a European model, an Asian model, I don't care. I'm still heavily influenced by everything Africa. I pull most of my influences from there. If you ever want to see great lighting, go check out some of the old vintage artwork from photographs from Africa. And that teaches you some good lighting right there. So that's where I feel like spiritually I come from.
All right, and being as connected as you are to your roots and your culture, your spirituality, how do you bring that into a world that is so European?
Right, that's a great question. Actually, I ignore everything that they tell me is beautiful. I ignore everything that they tell me is fashionable or hip right now, and I just focus on not necessarily replacing European girls with black women, because to me that defeats the point. I just shoot from my own rhythm. I photograph women that I find beautiful. I don't care if the rest of the world doesn't find them beautiful. And I shoot every single shade of melanin that we come in, from DeAndre Forrest, who has albinism. It's the lightest pigment of melanin you have, to some of the darkest, like Alik Wek, and every spectrum in between.
Those who trade in their swords for plows will plow for those with swords.
I absolutely agree with that. I can see that two different ways. I believe that the strong will survive, but unfortunately we live in a world where the aggressive prosper, those that are more aggressive. So Um, but I also look at it in a business sense. You know, I come across a lot of people oftentimes who don't really know exactly how to market themselves or what niche they're trying to fit in the industry, and they get lost away. Nobody's going to remember them. I have this thing that I'm really focused on in 2016. I don't want to be a good photographer. I don't even want to be a great photographer. Nobody remembers them. I'm seeking to only be a legendary photographer. That's more important to me than anything else. A legendary photographer creates work that lasts generations upon generations. And to do it in a way that I can elevate everyone around me. Not just my team, but my culture, you know? Lift up my ancestors and lift up my future generations that come after us. Because I just don't believe someone from our culture has gone this far with it without selling out, you know? And I'm highly in love with everything that it means to be a black god, a black king, you know, a black man, a black person, no matter who I'm working with, no matter who the client is. You see what I'm saying? I believe that we are the envy of the world and we have something unique, and we're the ones now that's gonna have the tools that come across those who just sitting up there digging in the dirt. Now we're the ones with the strength. Now we're the ones with the power, and the rest of the world is gonna realize that now. And it's a glorious time. So to answer your proverb, I kind of believe in the plow. I believe in putting in the work, but I also believe in coming and taking over too. So,
All right, cool.
I want to give a huge shout out to Ras Kev, the man behind the lens.